What's up, guys? Matthew here, back at it again with another board game review. And I have to hurry this up because I have to go to school. But thankfully, Mom made me a great lunch. It's a collectible card game. Look at this. This is just so cute. Oh my goodness. Now, just to clarify, this is the collector's version, but there are plenty of versions of this game you can find, like, just in its box or whatever. But, like, who wouldn't want a lunchbox version of this game? Anyway, this is SLAMWICH by GameRight, is what I'm trying to get at here. I bought SLAMWICH on a whim because I bought some GameRight games, and you know how when you buy a game and they give you like a little catalog of the games that they have for the company, and you look through it and you're like, ooh, this looks fun, or like, so on and so forth. I saw that it had SLAMWICH in it, and I was like, this looks kind of interesting. Just the fact that, like, it's sandwich slices, and I don't know. So there's something about it that appealed to me. And for $24 and a collector's edition, couldn't really pass it up. So here we are talking about SLAMWICH. Now, SLAMWICH is a game of speed. So if you played any speed games, you know it's all about flip, flip, flap, flap, bloop, bloop, blap, blap. There's no time to breathe. It's essentially a quick mind reflex type of game. But SLAMWICH is very simple, and obviously looking through the game, playing through the game, it's definitely not meant for, a higher level of education. Really anybody can, and definitely kids can get into this as well. But the way it works is that every card in the deck is divvied out amongst all the players that are playing, which is 2 to 6. Once every card in the deck has been divvied out, then that will be that player's deck. Now, the way it works is that each player will go around placing a card in the middle of the table, which are resembled as bread slices. And you're essentially building sandwiches in this game and collecting the best sandwiches you can get. And essentially, in this game of speed, as you're putting cards down, they're going to have different symbols on them. And you're looking for specific arrangements of cards in order to collect them. There are 2 main arrangements of cards that you'll be finding a lot of. And that is the SLAMWICH, which is the name of the game, right? And the next one is the double stacker. Now, SLAMWICH is as simple as just 2 matching ingredients with something else in between them, like a regular sandwich, like, I guess like a regular sandwich. And then the next one is the double stacker, which is as simple as just a match of 2 is the stack. If you notice one of these matches, you have to slap your hand down on the table and claim that pile of your own. Once you've claimed the pile in the middle, then you put it to the bottom of your deck and you continue flipping. Another card that you will encounter a lot are munchers. Now, munchers have numbers labeled 1 to 3, and in placing a muncher down of your own, you will force the next player to go to throw in the amount of cards necessary for the muncher. So if you put down a muncher with a 3 on it, then the next player has to put 3 cards down before the game continues. If that player completes the requirements of the muncher, then the player that placed the muncher will take the stack of cards from the center of the table. It's like a free SLAMWICH, essentially. That being said, a player placing down cards for the muncher can also find patterns in the cards that he's put down. So if he found a SLAMWICH in putting the cards down, then he can claim the SLAMWICH and then it will null the muncher. Or if that player plays down a new muncher, then the muncher will follow to the next player, and then that player has to be responsible for the muncher, which will also potentially give that player all the cards that the previous player was trying to get. So you see how it works. The game also has an option of taking the munchers out if you want a game that's a lot longer, but I think the munchers really mix it up, and plus, the game's going to be moving in so many different directions that I don't think the munchers are going to wave the entire game. Finally, we have the thieves. Now, there's 3 thieves in the game. You've got ants, a cat, and a dog. At least in this version. There are other versions that have different pictures on them, but this collector's edition, I'm just going over what the cards were in that one. Now, in flipping cards, you're supposed to flip them from face down to face up, so that you don't get to look at your card ahead of time. Now, in flipping a thief, the next person who slaps their hand on the table in response to the thief and shouts, "Stop, thief!" they will be able to receive the whole discard pile. According to the game, the thieves are the only cards in which you have to audibly shout "Stop, thief" in order to bring them back. Every other thing in the game, you don't have to shout anything, just slap your hand down. But the thief, it's required for you to shout, "Stop thief." So I don't know what that was. Anyway, the game ends once a player has the entire deck of cards in their hand. Players will be knocked out based off of losing all their cards, essentially, going bankrupt in that aspect. So once a player receives the entire deck of cards back into their hand, then they have won. Now, in games that I have played, although this game boasts very quick gameplay, it is fast, but games can go on forever if you're playing with 2 people. This is mainly because with 2 people, you each have a bigger deck to start with. And if you're both very agile, you could be playing for ages and ages and nothing will be happening. The longest game I had of this was definitely like 35 minutes. And, it doesn't sound long like from standing back and observing, but it's long in the sense of this game is so fast paced that you'll be exhausted going for that long. So that's one thing to pay attention to. That being said, do I think the game is terrible? No, I don't think. I think it's great. I think it's amazing. Like for a game accessible to family, like kids and adults alike, it's a game that's just easy to play and doesn't require too much brain work, I suppose. I mean, there are certain speed games in which I'm not good at just because there's so many things that you have to be paying attention to on the board. But as far as just like having one thing to pay attention to, it's very easy for me, and also very fun. And who can say no to a lunchbox like game? Like, I still think this is fantastic. Anyway, there you go. That is my review of SLAMWICH by GameRight, and highly recommended. Leave a like if you liked this video review, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Okay, people. But I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you've already subscribed. Unless my numbers get boosted up, then welcome to the channel, my boy or girl, or whatever denomination that you are a part of. Anyway, thank you for watching. This rabbit hole's gone down far enough. I'll see you next week.